Hi everyone, welcome to our very first ever Virtual MadConvo, brought to you by our Virtual Mad World Passport program. So today's topic is going to be on reframing your transition home. So first things first, I just want to acknowledge the fact that I know that it wasn't easy for you to have to leave Spain and to leave your study abroad experience early. And you know that transition was so quick for you that there probably wasn't a lot of time for you to be able to prepare yourself, to prepare your goodbyes, and to navigate that transition home. I also recognize that you have been home for a few weeks now, so while maybe some of the things that I discuss in this presentation you've already gone through or experienced during this transition, hopefully some of the tips and tricks and some of the resources that I'll provide will still be helpful for you to continue on this transition. So, first thing is I wanted to start with a quote. The quote is, "The experience has not ended here, but only served as a starting point." I really liked this quote. It was by a student who also had to leave their time studying abroad quickly and abruptly. And I think it's impactful because it's right. It's your experience. It did end, but you know it's going to open the doors for a lot of other opportunities that are going to come your way, and especially because your time abroad was still really meaningful, and it was still really impactful. You know, while it may have been cut short as a result of COVID-19, it doesn't take away from the impact that it's made on you as a person, as a global citizen. It doesn't take away from the impact that you made on the people that you met, and the experiences that you had during your time abroad. So, you know, the experience is still extremely meaningful. And so hopefully that I can help you realize that through this presentation, um, and recognize, you know, that it's okay to feel sad about your, no. Okay. So through this presentation, the goal is to help you recognize this, right? And to help you continue your transition from your time abroad to being back home. So what we're gonna do today, let me just move my little camera over here. The plan is to kind of discuss what is reentry in the scope of study abroad, and how are we gonna reframe it due to the COVID-19 situation and to your experience. We'll talk a little bit about cultural transition and what that means, right? And then I'll kind of present some steps for you to help you navigate through your transition of going back home after studying abroad, and some tools and strategies to kind of go through those steps. So, you know, now that you've made it home, you've made it through that initial crisis phase of having to pack up everything really quickly, make travel plans, cancel important travel plans, and exciting plans that you had for Semana Santa with your family, with your friends. Um, I know that wasn't easy. So let's see, hopefully in this presentation, how I can help you navigate those emotions, those feelings that you've had, um, and see how we can begin to, you know, move forward and make future plans and kind of, even though those might seem hard to imagine right now. But you know, maybe that includes a global experience in the future. Who knows? So we'll get started. All right. So, what is reentry, and how are we redefining it? So, reentry in the scope of study abroad is basically defined as the often unexpected and sometimes difficult experience of readjusting to life in one's home culture after living abroad. So think of it, right, as this process that you transition from your study abroad time to going back home. And everything that kind of goes with that, all of the emotions, all of the feelings, the cultural transition, right? Noticing all of those cultural differences that you probably didn't even know you were going to notice. So this looks different for everyone, right? It in terms of emotions, the timeline of how long you'll feel those or how long you'll go through this maybe kind of roller coaster of going back home, the coping mechanisms that you use personally. Um, and for many students, right, the return home is even more difficult than initially going to the host country. Um, and for you, you're probably feeling a lot of conflicting emotions right now. Um, and that's okay. That's normal. And these conflicting emotions probably come from the fact that you had to leave your study abroad experience early due to COVID-19. And so while reentry is something that we talk about in study abroad and that there are workshops on and for people who return from studying abroad, let's say from a normal study abroad experience, quote unquote. I mean, of course, your experience was normal, but your transition was not. And so COVID-19 is affecting your transition home on a whole different level. And everyone's going to have to process that differently. And you're going through this double adjustment in a way. You started off, right, on a very exciting and a very fun experience. No, I messed up again. So in a way, you're going through a double adjustment here. You've had to do the, let's say, normal re-entry process, right, of coming back and understanding all of these cultural differences and feeling a lot of things that you would feel if you were coming back at any other time. This is so hard. I hate this. Okay, so so you're going through a type of double adjustment here. You've had to do adjustments in terms of cultural transitioning and adjusting to being back home, just as you would if you had done re-entry in a normal experience going home. But you're also adjusting to this whole world of COVID-19, right? And what that means for going home. It means that you may or may not be stuck in a lockdown. You might have probably had to quarantine for 2 weeks. So this adjustment is extremely different, right, than if you were just going home after your study abroad experience. So let's reframe this, right? Let's put this in a little bit more of a positive light, and let's try and see how we can kind of help you through, how I can help you through this